Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host and favorite girl, of course, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know how we do it here on Between the Lines? We are always grateful, or some people will say thankful. And we are thankful to be here above ground, living another day, new mercies, new graces, a do-over. So whatever happened a minute ago, yesterday, doesn't matter. It's in the past. Don't let it worry you. Just keep it moving and know that you have a chance to do it over. Yeah? Don't self-torture yourself. So I have here Randi Lee Bowslaugh. Did I pronounce that correctly,
Yes,
Randi?
yes, you did.
Yes. And I see she also has another name. Probably it cannot fit, or she thinks it will take up the entire screen. But it's
Yes,
Randi Lee Bowslaugh Alderson or Alderson.
yep. It's my husband's name.
So we're going to just go with Randy today. So
Yes,
we're just going to go with Randy today. Yes? Yes,
yes,
because if she added on the Alderson, it's going to come off the screen. Yes? So
yep,
so she just stuck with it with the Bowslaugh.
yep.
So, Randy, so let me tell persons what we are talking about today, the stigma of depression. What a relevant topic at this point in time, especially in the pandemic. It actually raised depression, all those latent issues that were dormant and sleeping nicely, quiet in their corner. COVID raised Lazarus, the Lazarus of depression, in a lot of people that didn't know that they were depressed or probably were in denial, whatever it may be, it reared its head. Yeah. So we're talking about that today. And let me tell you a bit about Randy so we can continue the discussion. So Randy Lee is a competitive kickboxer. Imagine that. She doesn't
Yeah.
look it right. She doesn't look like she would hurt a fly. We have to find out about that. Who has twice represented Team Canada internationally? This is serious, people. She graduated from Niagara College and worked in social services, of all places, a kickboxer in social services. Okay? For 5 years. I wonder if she beat anybody up there. We'll find out. Before pursuing other endeavors, Randy volunteers within her community and supports various autism events. She's now using her skills, I wonder which skills are those, to inspire others through writing and motivational speaking. Welcome, Randy. I'm not so sure to Between the Lines.
Thank you. Yes, I am sure that you'll be thankful. I'm thankful for being here with you.
You are sure. I am not sure.
I am
At the
sure.
end of this episode, we will know for sure if we are sure.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
Because you're a kickboxer. You're a kickboxer. Now tell
Yep.
me something. What made you go into kickboxing? Why do you have this desire to kick people up? Randy? Why?
So it started about 10 years ago. We put our youngest into jiu-jitsu. And while the jiu-jitsu class was going on, the adult fitness kickboxing was going on, and I kept looking over and I'd be like, "Oh, that looks fun." So I joined in just for fitness. And then I'm like, "Oh, this is fun hitting things." So then I started taking like the classes and sparring, and I'm like, "Oh, I want to compete." And the rest is history.
I heard that this is fun kicking things. That's the part that's stuck in my head. This is fun. Yeah. The thing about it is that it actually releases a lot from you. I can tell
Yeah.
you, it releases a lot. That when you're able to punch or kick and feel a power, you do feel a power from it, right, Randy? Tell
Oh
us that
yes.
experience.
So it's totally different than doing other kinds of exercise, because like you're right, when you're feeling the punching, the kicking, it releases more than just our regular endorphins. It releases the stress too that we've been holding
Yeah,
on to. Because sometimes, let's be real, sometimes
yeah.
you get in an argument with somebody or something happens in your day and you want to hit something, but you can't.
Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah,
at least in
yeah.
kickboxing, right, there's that, it's a safe outlet.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Get it out. Get it out. Get it out. because the other alternative is to punch the person who gets you upset and you end up in jail. So get
Yeah,
it
that's not
out
good.
the safe way. Yes, I
Yeah,
believe in that.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And you represented Canada internationally. Isn't that awesome? So you took it from just peeping across to representing the country. How was that
Yeah,
experience?
it was amazing. So the first time I did it, I went to Ireland for Worlds. It's a completely different
Nice.
fight style that other people do than what we've been training for here in Canada. So it was really eye-opening to see all the different athletes from all around. Um, I didn't win at that one, but that's okay. It was a great experience.
That's
And then the
okay.
following
That's
year,
okay. You gotta kick people. That's the main thing. Did you
exactly,
get to kick people?
I did right in the head.
Okay.
And then the following year, I
You
went
gotta
to
kick
the
people.
to the Pan Americans in Mexico, and I got silver there.
Nice, nice. So do you still actively do it?
Well, with COVID, everything around me is shut down right now.
Yeah.
But prior to
Oh
COVID, like
yeah.
last year, I was actually
Yeah.
supposed to have a fight in June, but everything was shut down, so I didn't. I am doing more coaching than fighting. Just I don't want to say I'm getting
Mm.
older, but my kids are getting older, and I need to do more things around the house and just uh,
I like that.
getting
Yes, yes.
getting more adult. There we go. Not older, more adult. I've had to change what I've done, but
No, no.
I'm doing a lot of coaching now. Last year, I was actually one of the coaches for the Ontario Winter Games in February before COVID, and I was able to on my
Mhm.
little group, on my little team. We were able to inspire the young athletes, so it's ages 18 under for those, and it was awesome.
Yeah. You said it right, you know. You said it right. It's the kids that are getting older. It's everybody else that's getting older, Randy. It's not us. It's them.
Yeah,
They're the ones who are aging, sweetie. You said it right. You said it right. Don't
yeah.
worry. Don't apologize. You said it right. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
So, so tell me, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking, Randy? How old are
33.
you?
33.
33. Now, here's a question I'm going to ask you just to be a little devil's advocate, as they call it,
All
because we
right.
know that depression can happen at any time. So, at age 33, you're young, you're a baby, okay? You're a baby, okay? I'm still a baby, but you're a baby. And what 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 is a 33-year-old doing depressed? What can bring on depression? How long did you have you been having this depression? And tell us your experience with that. When it started, share the story.
Uh, so now it's been more than half my life. The first time I would say that I realized that I was depressed would have been about 13, 14 years old. So it's been a long time. There's been ups, there's been downs, there's been periods of times when I haven't been depressed. But as a teenager, there was a lot. I mean, being a teenager is hard in general, going to high school, going through puberty, different friendships. So there was just a lot going on at my house. So there was a lot of episodes there. I didn't want to tell anybody at the time, though. I wanted to hide it, keep it to myself, didn't want to tell anybody because if somebody knew I was depressed, that meant I was weak. It's not true, but that was what I was thinking was if I tell somebody I'm depressed, I am weak. Fast forward a few years, like so now I'm an adult. I had my first kid. Well, I only birthed one and then I have a stepchild. So the child I birthed, I was 19. And then I went to college when he was a baby, which was fine. I really enjoyed college. Not too many depressive episodes throughout college, which is really surprising, actually. And then, though, as my child got older and it became harder to deal with raising a child and going to work and being in social services is a difficult task all on its own. Then, with the fact that I have depression, it just kind of compiled on each other and I'd have some depressive episodes. As my child got older, he's got a lot of issues too. So he's been diagnosed with autism, and that can be a struggle. And not can be, it is. It is a struggle. And just feeling completely helpless as a mother because I want to help my kid, but I don't know how. I want to make him be able to, go out shopping at the mall, but he just can't do it because the anxiety is too high. I felt useless as a mother. And then with him going in and out of the hospital, I felt useless as an employee because I had to take off so much time off work. Then my house would become a disaster because I didn't have time to clean it. So now I'm an awful wife, right? So all of those things, I was an awful person. And the depression just skyrocketed. And I had to figure out ways to cope and deal with it, which I have. So I started on antidepressants a few years ago. And the thing with when you take an antidepressant is you feel really good after, which is great. That's what it's supposed to do. But then you might think, oh, I don't need them anymore. So I stopped. That wasn't a smart move to do. When I stopped, of course, the depression came back. And I also started in therapy, which was really helpful. I had a really great psychologist. She was awesome, taught me a lot of different coping mechanisms and to view things in a different way. Because my brain likes to go right to the negative. And then as soon as a negative thing happens, it's like plays on repeat over and over and over. So I started in therapy, which was helpful. And then last year, just before COVID hit, actually, which thank goodness I realized before COVID hit, I realized I needed to go back on my antidepressants. There was no amount of kicking stuff that would solve my problem. It was helpful though. So then I started back on them, and we're here now.
Here's the thing, Randi. I want you to go back a little bit in time. Yeah. So you said since you were about 13. So as young an age as that, what are the signs to recognize? Because I'm a parent, you're a parent, and I want persons who may be listening to this to be able to identify if that is happening to their child or if that's happening to themselves. What are some of the signs, symptoms, something to pay attention to let you know that this is happening?
Yes, for sure. That's so important. So for me, I can only ever speak from experience, right? Because I'm not a doctor of psychology or anything like that. But a flat affect is a big one. So not feeling happy, but not feeling sad either. And so just kind of going through the motions of life. That can be hard to see in somebody else. But if someone is saying that they aren't feeling happy or they aren't feeling sad, that's a sign. Because it's really easy to mask. I just slapped a smile on my face and went to school. Nobody was the wiser. So that one can be a little bit trickier. But then if somebody, normally you talk to your child or you have a friend and normally you go out, out shopping all the time. Because that's what teenagers usually do. Well, that's what I did as a teenager. And then all of a sudden they're not wanting to go anymore. So there's a lack of interest in things that they didn't like before. So a big thing for me was, I'm a kickboxer. We talked about that. I stopped liking it. I just didn't want to go to classes anymore, didn't want to hit stuff. That's kind of a big warning sign. So if somebody was in a sport or they really enjoyed a certain hobby and they're just not doing it anymore, huge red flag. Some other things. So my child also has depression. So when he's kind of going through it, he's a little different than I was. See, I didn't want to be stuck in my house because there was a lot of tension at home. So I would still go out. I would put on that smile and I would just go out to be out of my house. Whereas with my kid, he just goes in his room. So, which can be seen as a normal teenager thing. So you have to really know your child. And but he would just hide in his room and just not want to come out, not want to do anything. And that, I think, is the biggest thing, actually, is you need to know the person and recognize change.
Yeah, that's critical, because when we look at the news and we look at persons who they were running a normal life every day, taking out the garbage, helping the next door lady, everything was fine. And all of a sudden you see them on the news killing people, sniping out people, and you're like, how? I know this guy, he's my next door neighbor. How did that happen? He seemed quite normal. Go out, carry the garbage, whatever.
Yeah.
So we have to know the persons that we're living with, the people in our life, to pick up on something is off.
Yes.
Um, it might not necessarily be depression, but something is off that we need to pay attention to.
Exactly. It could
Now,
just be
you
a
are on
moment.
medication, and that's right. That's right. But that moment, Randy, can lead to other things. It can be a number of
Yes.
moments that can lead to things. So don't start to overthink it at the first moment is what I would suggest. I mean,
Yes.
you're more experienced with this, but yeah, don't overthink it. But honestly, I think we all go through depression in some way or form. I think we all go through it, different stages of our life, different phases in our life, depending on what's happening, you know. Um, in the pandemic, particularly, where we are now more isolated, we can't get to do the things that we were doing actively, socializing, being able to express ourselves and get all that anger and feeling out, like you with kickboxing, me with my dancing. I'm not able to socialize as I did before because, none of that. So your human need to interact and to express yourself or to vent, to have the ability to vent is no longer there. Or you have to find other ways to vent. Using this technology, while yes, it helps us to still connect, it really doesn't have that reach, that sort of physical need that physical connection, an exchange of that kind of energy as we used to, in a face-to-face setting. What did you find in yourself, in your family, or even people you know who have depression? What has been happening with them in the pandemic, and what would you suggest people do to navigate this time? Because we don't even know when we'll be able to, I don't want to use the word go back, but when we will have some sort of semblance of a regular routine. I don't know how else to describe
Yeah.
it, because
Maybe
going back is
more
clearly not an option.
socializing.
We are going forward. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
How are people coping, and or how should they cope? Yeah.
yeah. For me personally, I'll start there. The pandemic's actually been good for me, as as odd as that sounds, because I don't have the hustle and bustle of life, right? I don't have to be at a certain place at a certain time. I don't have to pick the kids up at school here and then rush them over to an appointment or over to somewhere else. So being able to take that step back. With that being said, I love the way that you said that
Okay.
we're moving forward and we don't necessarily want to go back, because now that I realize, and for others they might have realized, that that busyness, that jamming our schedule so full of things increases our depression. Now that we know that when this pandemic is finally at a point where we can leave our homes, maybe don't fill your
Mhm.
schedule so full, because now we realize that that is a trigger. Other things though,
Yeah.
like for me, I'm lucky because I'm not home alone, right? I've got my one kid is doing school online, so he's in grade 9, and so a lot of the day I'm sitting right beside him, making sure he's doing his homework. Because if I'm not beside him, he's not doing it. My husband is still going to work because he's deemed as an essential worker. But when he comes home, I still have him to talk to. I've got to walk my dogs twice a day. So I'm lucky. I still have a bit of a semblance of normalcy, of routine, rather, a bit of normal routine for me, because I do have certain things I have to get done. I just don't have to rush out of the house, and all appointments are done online, which is kind of nice. Um,
Mm.
but I do know some people
Mhm.
who
Yeah.
they live by themselves, so it's a lot harder. They don't
Mm.
have that connection. When my husband comes home and if I'm having a bad day, I can give him a hug, right? And it's actually been proven that
Mm.
just a
Yeah.
hug helps you. Right? If you're living by yourself,
Yeah.
you don't have somebody to just embrace for 5, 10 seconds. So it's a little harder for them. My godmother, she lives alone, and it's definitely a lot harder for her
Mm.
being by herself. So everybody's situation is
Yeah.
different, but what I
I
want
can
everyone
totally
to
relate.
realize, yes, what I want everyone to
Yeah, I
realize
can
is
relate
that
because
recognize it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can relate to your relatives there because I live alone. I know what it is like. And moving from this type of life to like, it's it really could take a toll on you. It really could take a toll. And just the mentality of knowing, oh my God, I can't go out again. I can't interact. I can't dance. I can't socialize. It creates a mental thing. So it's all in your mind really to kind of shift into the new way of doing things. But it's amazing coming back to how you shared the pandemic really helped you because it brought structure to your life and you're not into the busyness anymore. When it might be the reverse for somebody else, they have to be
Yes.
busy. They need that structure, and being alone, being at home and seeing the kids and seeing the husband is like, no, get out, get out.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
You need to get out to go to work. You need to get out to go to school. Get out, get out. I need
That's why
my
I'm glad my
space. But
husband does.
for each it gives you a little space. It
Yes.
gives you a little space. But it's the stigma. Why is there a stigma associated with depression? Who started this rumor of a stigma? Because we all
That's
go
a
through
good
depression.
question.
Why is there a negative connotation with it?
That is a great question. I would love to meet the person who first decided that it was a bad thing. But what I do know from doing research and talking to different people is that the stigma has existed long before the internet, long before all of this technology we have. So, um, way back, can't tell you what year, but way back in the day, there was insane asylums, right? And they would put people deemed as crazy, right? They would put people deemed as unfit for society, which often was a mental health
Wow.
issue. Sometimes it could have been a physical or developmental, but a lot of times it was, say, schizophrenia, or if it was depression or anxiety, right? So they would ship them off to a building to not deal with them because they were not fit for society. And that mindset, it's changed a little bit because we do have diagnosis now and there are certain medications that help and there's a bit more understanding. But that concept of you're not fit for society is still around.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about it is, as I listen to you, I'm thinking because I believe in natural methods of doing things, and when you mention the pandemic, which is the environment, change your lifestyle for you. So now you're able to have more structure. I'm thinking, okay, so you have depression, or we have depression, or people have depression. Is there a natural approach without having to depend on antidepressants medication, which can really fluctuate the whole chemical imbalance in your body or create chemical imbalance? While it has immediate effects of feel good, but it comes back. I am thinking, are there natural ways that people can adopt, implement in their life, plus a lifestyle approach? Like how they say diabetes or hypertension. These things are lifestyle. You can take charge of it. What are some things that we can do naturally if we recognize we are going through something and we realize, okay, this is a trigger for me. I need structure. I need more quiet space. This is not doing well for me. So for example, I may be working in an office and I know that the relationship between me and my boss or supervisor or particular employee is not doing well for me. I don't feel to go to work every day, which is most people. They don't want to get up to go to work. They hate the job. They're just doing it because they need the money. And it's like, oh, Monday, oh, I need a day off. And you find them they're taking sick days so often. People don't realize that is also a sign, a trigger of something. I don't know if you would call it depression, but you really don't feel good to go to work on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So clearly, it must be some sort of depression that you don't want to wake up and enjoy what you're doing. So I'm saying if you see these things as triggers in your life, or a family outing, going to a reunion, family gatherings, the Christmas, the Thanksgiving, all these things are triggers for you. What are some lifestyle changes you can make, or boundaries? Let's use that word, boundaries that you can set to safeguard you and your sanity and your mentality, your spirit, your whatever, to keep you balanced. Not, and when you do these things, people might say, oh, who do you think you are? You suddenly think you're all that. It's about you. It's about being selfish, and people think that's a negative word as well, but doing the things for you. What are some lifestyle changes? What are some natural methods?
I love that question. So, natural methods, exercise is the first thing that always comes to my mind, especially kicking things. But exercise, it releases endorphins, it releases feel good hormones. So, that's a really big one. I use that one a lot. A lot of people will go, okay, I need to go to the gym and I'm going to work out for an hour and a half. And that's fine if that works for you. But for me, yes, I still have like my hard workout, let's say that one would be like an hour, but I do these little tiny workouts throughout the day because if you're especially if you're at an office and you're just sitting in front of a computer or whatever, you need to get up and move around. Our bodies were meant to move. So every hour, take 10 minutes and move around. If that's not doable, whatever your 15-minute break is or whatever, get up and move around. So I start my day with 10, 15 minutes of exercise, simple things. I don't need to get sweaty. And then usually later in the day, I'll do another little exercise. Then later in the day, I'll do another little. So just these little bursts of 10, 15 minutes. They're really helpful. The other thing is vitamin D. Vitamin D and mental health really go together. So vitamin D comes from the sun, which in Canada right now, we don't have a lot of. It's winter. So supplementing with...
Oh, so sorry for you, Randy. We have a lot of vitamin D. Okay, that means you need to move over in the Caribbean. A lot of vitamin D. And even though I live in the Caribbean with a lot of vitamin D, okay, notice the color of my skin. Okay, I am well done. Vitamin D plus I take vitamin D3 daily. D3 daily, and I take all the things that I need to stop. Yes. Yay me.
Vitamin D.
Go ahead, Randy. Go ahead.
I love it. I gotta come visit you and have so much fun. But vitamin D is probably the biggest one. My naturopath actually told me magnesium was another really big thing that we need to have. And then just getting enough sleep, which I know can be big trouble for some people, but getting an adequate amount of sleep so you feel refreshed when you wake up, you're starting your day refreshed, and then eating properly, right? Eating our fruits and veggies. And my kid always goes, I don't like fruits and veggies, but eating your fruits and veggies, it's what your body wants, it's what it needs. And when your body feels good, the rest of you can feel good.
I am actually looking forward. Randy. I see we get knocked off there for a moment. Yes, I am actually looking forward, Randy, to the mangoes. I am looking at the mango tree outside my window. I see them blossoming. So I am so looking forward to that. I know the more you watch the tree is the longer it takes. So I'm trying not to peep at it too often, but I'm really I'm really looking forward to it. So these are the little things that I think people can do. Just find the joy in the things around you and do what makes you feel good. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Do what makes you feel good. If you feel to get dressed up and put on makeup in your house and walk out to the shop and come back, do that. Okay, you do that. Okay, put on your heels or your boots, whatever, just to go to the nearby shop. You do that. Who cares? Okay, it's supposed to be only for you. But I like how you talk about the exercise, because exercise really helps and it makes you feel good. I will tell you, I recently started exercising. I will tell you, it's about 17 days every day. I have been procrastinating on it for years, and it's a moderated exercise. It's not kicking anybody yet. I'm working myself up to it. Okay, I'm working myself up to it. To kicking people. When I get there, I'm going to hire you as my coach. So
sounds good.
I started regular exercise. And it really makes you feel good for persons my age. And what I love about it is that it is not pressuring me, Randy. It's like, take your time, do what suits you. If you can't lift your leg up so high or raise your hand up, no problem. I just love that. It's not making me feel I'm working out with some sort of professional gym person. And, I feel good because it's not putting pressure on me. I don't want to be pressured. And I don't think anybody wants to be pressured, really. You just do what's comfortable for you, and there's nothing hanging over your head or some contract to say you're obligated. No, You just do what makes you feel good. So I
Yeah.
love that because I really don't want persons to be depending on medication. I want them to take hold of this thing, recognize there's an imbalance happening in them, and say, no, 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 this is not me. Something is going on. I need to get help. I need to probably even change the friends you think you have,
Yeah.
change the environment, change the friend, just just all of that,
Yes.
just wipe them out and start afresh. Yeah,
Yeah.
start afresh. This is awesome. Let me get to your website, Randy. Let me get to your website. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
All
Let me get to
right.
that. Let me get to that. Yeah. In the meantime, keep sharing. If there's anything else, any other tips you want to share to help persons cope,
Well,
that would be
when
awesome. Keep sharing.
yeah, when you were talking about the mango trees, so good, love mangoes. But you were saying that it's the simple things, right? Finding small little simple things in life
Hmm.
is so important. And another easy thing that you can do at home to help you is a gratitude journal. So every day, write down
Yeah.
3 things that make you feel good.
Yeah.
Watching the mango trees or eating
Yeah.
the mangoes, right? Sitting in a comfy
Yes.
blanket.
Yes.
Not big giant
You
things.
write in that journal every day. You write in that journal every day. I saw the mango today. It was this size. I'm waiting for it to be
Yes,
to be full.
yes, yes.
Yes, keeping a journal is good because it's something that I say and I encourage persons, Randy, to do because it's very therapeutic, expressing yourself, and it really brings out a deepness with your inner being that you don't even
Yes,
realize. And when you look back, you start to connect the dots. You
yes.
start to connect the dots. It's amazing. So I have your website up. You're looking pretty and all that with your
Oh,
books.
thank you.
Guide me as to what you would like to share. Yeah, guide me as to what you would like me to share. Of course, your hair
I
color is different in this,
I
but that's
change my
okay.
hair color so often, so often. Actually, you'll see another totally
That's
different hair
good.
color.
That's good. And that's another tip. That's another tip. Change the hair color if you want to. Pink,
Yeah.
purple, green, go for it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
green.
Who cares?
I've never done
So
purple.
here,
I've had green, blue. It's great. So
nice.
that first page is just like welcome to the
Yes, tell us
website.
about.
Um, it's
Yeah.
really just thanks for coming to my website. That first little page there, and that picture is from my first book launch. Again, that book's about
Nice.
mental health because I want people to hear about it and talk about it. And I do have a newsletter that people can sign up to on the end, and they're the Stay in the Loop. And I don't spam
Yeah.
really. But on other pages, you'll see more about the about Randi Lee. That's all about me, and the book. So each book
Hmm.
has its own page. So that first one there, A Mother's Truth, that's just about raising my child, and my friend actually co-authored that about raising her child. That's got some differences.
Nice.
So mine has
Yeah.
autism, and then my friend's has anxiety and some learning disabilities. So it's really about the parents' perspective, the things that people don't talk about for that one. And we do,
Hmm.
again, talk about some of the stigma of depression in it because our kids have it. So Thoughts of a Wanderer, that is my very first book. It started with my poetry from when I was 13, 14 and dealing with my first bout of depression. And I turned it into this
Mm.
book to start the conversation. And then Operation Deck the Halls, that's my kids' Christmas book I wrote last year. I was just having fun with that one. It's a great little kid's story.
Nice.
And what you don't see on here, because it is not quite released yet, maybe I should make a coming soon spot actually, but in this notebook, that's just like a to-do notebook, so you can list everything. And those are actually my dogs on the cover when it was summer and we had some vitamin D
Oh,
going on.
nice.
But yes, what you don't see is the newest book that is being released for pre-order next week, which is called Embracing Me. And
Oh,
that is
you need to
all
you need to
about,
send a link.
I will definitely send a
You need
link
to
once it
send
is
them.
up. Yes, I haven't
Yeah.
uploaded it. working on the cover right now, actually. And that is all about the topic that we've been talking about.
That's okay.
There's some more different hair.
I can tell. I can tell.
Yep.
You are dealing very well with depression. You're a very good billboard for depression. So there should be no stigma when it comes to that. You just do you. You just do you. That's
and that
awesome.
is what
Randi,
that is what that book is all about, embracing me.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do you. Just do you. Any final words for the listening audience, Randi?
If you're willing to ask somebody, how are you? Be willing to accept the answer. And maybe you need to give them a little extra support. That's a big thing. That's one that people overlook.
I love that.
So thank you so much for having me.
And no, I want to, before you go there, you see that how are you question, Randi?
Yep.
It is typically responded, I'm fine. Yes. People really don't expect to hear anything other than that. When they actually hear something other, is like, oh, I wasn't prepared for that.
Yep.
So I love that you wrapped up with that. Be prepared for the answer. Be prepared for the answer. And it doesn't mean to necessarily give advice. It means just listen. Yeah. Because most people just want somebody to listen. Yeah. Not to tell them advice, not to give feedback, not to be judgmental, not to start comparing, not to start making the story yours. The focus is about that individual, and they want you to just hear them and give them the time. Yeah. That's what it is. Thank you so much, Randi, for sharing the unstigma of depression.
Thank you for having me. I love it.
Because there is none. We are all depressed people, different levels, and we need to recognize we are all in the same boat. Some of us are in the front, some in the middle, some in the back, some on the side. Some have oars, some don't have oars. We are all in the same boat. Thank you so much, Randi, for being
You're welcome. You're so welcome.